you all for being here, and we appreciate you coming in this kind of squally winter weather. My name is Paul Miner. I'm the president of United Way of Tri-County, and I'm the executive director of MASS211. And I appreciate you all being here today to celebrate 211 Day in Massachusetts. We're very blessed that the governor has chosen to, year after year, designate and declare February 11th as 211 Day in Massachusetts. And it's part of a national celebration that will be celebrated in all 50 states at different times during this week. So thank you very much for being here to be part of this. We're so honored to have the Lieutenant Governor here today to help us celebrate, and we will introduce her in a moment. Today we are here for two reasons. One is to proclaim today MASS211 Day in Massachusetts, and the other is to say thank you to Gary Lever, who is our Vice President for 211, who will be retiring, and we're going to talk more about that in a minute. But now it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Karyn Polito.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Well, good morning. It's an honor to be here. I think this is my third time coming to be with all of you to recognize your incredible work and your important work relative to this program, and most importantly, connecting people in our communities, in our Commonwealth, to the services that they need. And that is really the basic service of government, is to be there first and foremost for the people who need help the most. And I think today is a great opportunity for us to highlight that, but also to showcase that this system is available to people when they are in need. And I'm very happy to come here to bring attention to this. Of course, many have come before me to help promote and organize this program. Gary being on the forefront of the effort, being the brains behind the whole effort of using technology back in 2006 when this program started to help organize this system. Obviously looking at best practices from other states and thinking, how can Massachusetts do a better job in this area? And oftentimes it takes one individual to come up with the idea, and then a team to work together to make it a reality. So certainly, Gary, your efforts are to be commended here, and we'll talk about you a little bit more. It also takes a team of very dedicated people, and Chris Walsh is certainly one of those individuals in the room. I want everyone here to know how important Chris is to securing the funds needed for the 211 program. The current year has a $100,000 earmark for this program, and I know that Chris was very instrumental in spearheading that effort and communicating with our administration around the importance of these funds, and want to thank you for your leadership. And to Paul, certainly a force behind all of this. And what I love about this whole system is that it is a partnership, working with United Way and the agencies embedded in our state government to better serve the community. And United Way being a household brand. Everyone recognizes the United Way program, and certainly here in Tri-County, a very strong safety net is evident here and through the United Way network across our Commonwealth to help individuals. Last year we were able to highlight the work around suicide prevention and mental health, and we really appreciate your ability to serve those with needs in that area. Particularly with the opiate epidemic, this is of critical importance to all of us. When Governor Baker and I came into office, recognized that this was a significant problem, and as we have all learned more about it, have come to learn how deeply embedded, unfortunately, this is in too many places in the Commonwealth. So we need every tool in the toolkit to help individuals who are suffering from addiction, find themselves in a very alone place many times, and yet have the ability through this kind of program to make a one call that can connect them to the services and support that they need. There's much more work to do in this area. The governor and I and our team filed what we call the CARES Act, which is the second round of legislation needed in this Commonwealth to fill in the gaps. Certainly when individuals present to the emergency room, we think there's an opportunity to help those individuals receive the support connecting to long-term care right at that moment. Too many times, individuals get back on their feet because they're Narcan back to life, and they go back out in the community and they continue down this path, which in too many instances is leading to their death. There's more work to do there. There's a whole, as you know, aftercare industry that has emerged in Massachusetts to respond to these needs, and we're looking to provide more standards in the area of recovery coaches and individuals who are helping those in need as they are on this path to recovery. It's not something that happens quickly. It's a long journey, and they need constant support and help. I also want to thank you for your efforts. One of the things that we did when we came into office was change a policy around homelessness. We were finding that hotels and motel rooms were being used with great frequency to shelter individuals and families, mainly women and young children, and taking them away from the communities in which they have support and into communities where they're in a hotel room, isolated, the kids were being bused back to schools, and really no support. Shelter, but no support. We reversed that policy. There were about 1,500 hotel rooms being used for this purpose. We're now down to under 50. But the key to the success of this transition and new policy was keeping the individual and children in place with the community support that they need to be well. Access to skill development, access to behavioral health, making sure the kids are connected well in school, and that's where the network of services that you know so well are important to helping individuals. I want to thank you for your help in that effort as well. Mostly today is an opportunity to thank you. It would be interesting to be in your shoes, literally, when you do receive these calls. Some of them are probably rather simple to resolve, but I would say most of them are complicated. But the fact that over 122, well, it's 122,487 to be specific, so thank you for measuring the data, because I know that was a big thing to Gary, very important. Behind every single one of those numbers is a person who lives in this Commonwealth, who calls Massachusetts home, that needs help. Credit to all of you that they knew to call and use the 211 system, number one. Number two, I have full confidence that you, after listening carefully to their questions and requests, connected them to the many services that we have. I mean, Massachusetts is a top-notch state in terms of the kinds of services that we offer. Recently, we were recognized as the healthiest state in the country. We have almost universal access to health coverage, but if people don't know about it, they're not going to get connected to the services they need. So you are that connection point, and you're the ones listening, feeling anxiety, understanding what the need is, and following through. I would think maybe one of the hardest parts of your job is to wonder after, how did this person do? And I'm not sure if you actually know if they got to where they needed to go. But that's where the rest of the system needs to do its job for that individual. The fact that they get connected through you is a really essential piece to that safety net. I want to thank all the volunteers who come to this room and your counterparts for being an equal part of the team in helping connecting people to the services that they need. And I think you come to this region and the Tri-County network to really support, again, the safety net that's critical. And then finally, to all of you, whether you're on the government side or on the nonprofit side or volunteer side, thank you for what you do. This is why people feel good about where they live in Massachusetts. We're also known as the best overall state for people to live, to work, to raise a family. And I think it's because no matter where you live in this state, you feel like there's something good happening, whether you can connect to services, or the schools are good, or you have a good job to wrap your life around. Some places, it's better than others, and that's our collective work to do together, to make sure that there's opportunity available in all parts of this Commonwealth for people to feel like they live in a number one state because they are in a number one state. So today is a great time of thanks and appreciation and spotlighting something that's working. Governor Baker often says that when you find something that's working, keep doing more of it. So that's what we're trying to do today, is to celebrate the fact that we are a Commonwealth that embraces our MASS211 system. And I'd like to present this citation to you, Paul. We proclaim, whereas the governor is committed to raising awareness, and the lieutenant governor, of MASS211, which receives more than 110,000 calls annually and responds to over 250,000 web queries from people in our Commonwealth seeking resources, seeking help, seeking assistance. And that the United Way launched this 211 system over 20 years ago. And across the country, there is this network of support. And here in Massachusetts, we recognize that it's a way to help residents get correct and helpful information the first time they call. So with that, we declare that February 11th, we're not quite there yet, but we're close, February 11th to be MASS211 Day here in the Commonwealth, and we urge everyone to take notice and to spread the good word about the good work that this system and that you do every day. Here we go.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant Governor. So in 2005, I first met Gary Lever, and it was an experience that will be indelibly earmarked in my head for the rest of my life. We had a contractor that we contracted with the first year that we ran 211, and then we got a contract with MEMA to do 24/7 emergency coverage, and the contractor was unable to provide that service. So we decided to move 211 into this facility. And I went to see Gary because he was running the program for the contractor, and I said, "What's your pleasure? What do you want to do?" And he said, "Wherever 211 goes, I go." And I'm glad he said that, because without Gary, we would have had a very difficult time becoming the program that we are today. And that is why we're so happy that he has been here for over 11 years now, and I'm so glad that he's my friend. So it's with a bittersweet feelings that we announce his retirement, and he says he's going to kayak. I want to see that. He says he wants to. I said, that's all right, as long as we have a little telephone with an earpiece connected to the boat so that he can pick up calls if he needs to. But Gary, we're extremely grateful for your efforts. And why don't you come on up, and our Lieutenant Governor is going to present you with a citation. So.
So this is an opportunity for us to talk about our friend. So Gary, thank you. It's also an opportunity to talk about service, whether government service or community service, volunteer service, service in as part of a nonprofit system of care. Thank you for choosing to do this and for making a difference in the lives of many. For you to recognize in 2006 the power of using technology and how much it's changed in this decade, and how instrumental it is in helping to connect people to whatever they need on a personal level or on a societal level like this, connecting people to the services, whether it's someone that is an older citizen that needs to understand how to get from one place to another in terms of accessing a transportation network, or it's someone that needs addiction services and doesn't know where to go, or it's someone new to the community and is just trying to get familiar with how things work. It's just really good way of making our Commonwealth feel like home and making it feel far more in reach for many individuals. And you stayed with this to perfect the system. And I think the data just speaks volumes. That's how this has been able to continue, because you're showing how many lives are impacted, and that number continues to grow every single year. We are thankful for your service. All that you need now is good health to enjoy the years ahead, and no doubt you will continue to serve this community in other ways, and we look forward to working with you on whatever endeavor you choose to make your next priority. Thank you very much from all of us in the Commonwealth.
Very, very happy to be part of the growing of 211. I think it's a great service. The people that I work with are just tremendous people who really care about other people. Every one of these calls is very, very important, very emotional. And we've been able to, while we do all the numbers and all the technology, we've also been able to maintain that piece of it in terms of the caring piece, and really being part of people's lives at a time when they're very much in crisis, often in crisis. So we're there with them, and it's something that we value very much, as well as we value the technology piece of it. So thank you.
Just so you'll know, we have Eileen Davis is our new vice president for MASS211. Eileen, why don't you stand up? And she'll be taking over. I'd like to ask Jean Strock, who's a longtime member of our board, and actually the first person I think I met at the United Way of Central Massachusetts when I first left the Boys and Girls Club system to come and work for United Way. And she's a fine lady, and she's known Gary for many, many years, and she's going to say a few words from the board. So, Jean?
All right, good. Thanks, everybody. You know, the Lieutenant Governor said it so well, and Paul said it so well. There's not much more for me to say, except to, on behalf of the board, to express our appreciation for Gary's service over many, many years to make MASS211 successful and take care of all the people that you've touched through all this work that you've done. And I know your staff has always been important to you. The board has always felt very connected to you. And we just want to acknowledge, the knowledge you've had about all the services and state services, nonprofit services in this community. It's just a vast list of resources that we have in this community. You've been a wonderful manager of the staff and the resources in databases. You've gone through lots of transitions with MASS211 by way of databases and reporting systems, and we've all been through that process with you. You know, from a personal point of view, I just want to acknowledge your kindness, the empathy that you have with with people making contact and calls to MASS211. So we just want you to know how much we've appreciated the work you've done.
I just want to thank Gary for being there for me whenever I needed your help. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for helping me in any way I needed your help, for trusting me, for listening to me and being there for me. I wanted you to know that what a pleasure was working with you and for you. You have been the greatest boss, a great person, and a great human being. I wish you the best in whatever your future holds. And I, personally, I will miss you. Thank you.
And one last thing. So he's been telling me now he's going to do kayaking. I want to see this anyway, but, and I also said to him the other day, I said, what would you like? Maybe perhaps a picture of you hanging up on the wall. And you know, Gary wears his glasses on top of his head like that all the time. And he says, no. Let's just put my glasses in a frame and let everybody guess who's behind it. That's not a bad idea, actually, but we want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for being here today. You know, I've been through 7 administrations in this role that I have here at United Way. And Karyn Polito is one of the classiest, most genuine people I've ever met in state government. So I just want to make sure you all know that. Okay? Thank you. Eileen, you want to say a few words?
I certainly have big shoes to fill, obviously, but I'm humbled, I'm honored to inherit this team, along with my current team that's here for Call to Talk. And I'm just super, super excited to, together with Paul and remotely through Gary and the kayak, to look forward to celebrating MASS211 Day next year and just report on all the amazing, wonderful things that together we all accomplish. So thank you for believing in me, and it's been an honor.
Thanks for being here today. Thank you.